Everyone agrees that empathy is important in therapy. As a therapist, you have to be empathic. But what is empathy? What does that mean exactly? And is empathy all it takes to be a psychotherapist? Is there such a thing as fake empathy, just going through the motions? And speaking of that, how about AI therapy chatbots? Do they know how you feel? I'm Dr. Stephen Reedboard. As a psychiatrist and educator with eons of experience, I challenge oversimplified or misleading mental health messages you see everywhere on social media. If you like what I'm doing here, please like this video and subscribe to More Than Meds. What is empathy? Well, definitions vary, but I like this one. Empathy is the ability to share someone else's feelings or experiences by imagining what it would be like to be in that person's situation. So empathy takes imagination, being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. What's it like to be them? But it takes more than just imagination, being able to picture it in your own head. It takes feeling as well. And that means having one's own experiences in the world, one's own life history, one's own lifetime of emotional experiences to be able to tap into that. There's a famous paper written back in 1974 by Thomas Nagel called "What Is It Like to Be a Bat?" It's a technical philosophy paper, but one of the points in it is that the experience of being a bat is so different from the experience of being a human that we can't really understand what it's like to be a bat. I would say that we can't really empathize with bats. We can try to imagine, picture in our heads what it's like to fly or to use echolocation like a bat, but our emotional and experiential life is totally different from a bat's. The way a bat experiences being a bat has to be very different from the way a human would experience being a bat. And it may be that way as well with other people who are so different from us culturally or in terms of life experience that there's really no overlap, that we have no common ground to compare feelings, no common ground of experience. So should your therapist be as much like you as possible to maximize empathy? I don't think so, because that can introduce blind spots. It helps in psychotherapy to see things from another perspective. I talk about that here. It's a subtle balance. For example, if a patient comes to me and talks to me about how their parent is medically declining and near death, it's not empathic if I take that scene and run with it, immediately recalling my own history when I had a parent who was declining medically and near death. And for me to say, oh, I know just how you feel, because I don't really know just how they feel. Their family dynamics are different. The complex mixture of feelings they have is different. Their whole history is different from mine. Their emotional life is different from mine in important ways and different from everyone else's on Earth. Not as different as a bat, of course, but different enough. So I have to listen very carefully to my patient. Maybe they're not just sad, but also feeling guilty about their dying parent. It's important for me to listen carefully to try to discern what's going on in them that would lead them to have a guilty feeling as well. What about their relationship with that parent? What about their background or their history? If they're sad but also expressing a sense of anticipated relief, they're going to be relieved when their parent dies, what in their history can give me clues that could help me to understand that feeling that they're having? How will my deeper understanding of their life help me to get a deeper appreciation of their emotional reaction to that situation? Really empathizing with someone requires carefully listening to where they're coming from, not where most people would be coming from, not where people in their ethnic or gender or socioeconomic or other identity class mostly would be coming from, we imagine, not where we would be coming from in that situation, where they uniquely are coming from. So a deeper view of empathy requires 4 things. It requires careful listening. It requires curiosity about the other person. It requires imagination and ability to picture being in the situation that they're in. And finally, it requires some shared life experience or experiences to tap into, to find a common emotional ground. By the way, empathy and sympathy are 2 different things. Sympathy is having pity or feeling sorry for someone who suffered a misfortune. It doesn't mean having the same feeling as the person themselves. For example, you might feel sympathy for someone whose car got stolen, and they say, well, don't feel bad for me, the insurance will cover it and I'll get a better car. They don't feel sad. Your feeling doesn't match theirs, but you feel sorry for them. In contrast, empathy is sharing a feeling with someone else, to have some knowledge of what it's like to be them. Suppose you're a client or patient and your therapist voices empathy, but you suspect that they're not really feeling it, that they're just mouthing the words. How can you tell? Well, ultimately you can't really tell, unless your therapist is an AI chatbot, in which case you can be 100% sure they're faking it, because machines can't feel empathy, at least not yet. As for human therapists, are they speaking and acting in a way that seems to reflect them having true feelings? Someone who's truly in touch with the feelings that you're expressing? If not, they may be just saying they do. On the other hand, maybe their empathy makes you wonder because it seems like too much instead of too little. Now, I've heard stories of new clients going to see their brand new therapist and telling about their traumatic or their very sad history, and the therapist bursts into tears and is unable to continue the session because they're so overcome with emotion. Now that's not so good either, right? You want your therapist to be able to contain and manage feelings. If empathy seems excessive, it may just be overacting. They may be faking it. Or it may be that what you've told your therapist is triggering something in them, and they're emotionally reacting to something within themselves, not really something that you've told them. In which case, that's not exactly empathy either. They're not feeling the same as you. They are feeling something that's overwhelming them, that's coming from inside them. So whether someone seems to be showing too little empathy or too much empathy, or it just seems a little off kilter, it gives you the feeling that there's a kind of disconnect, that the person isn't really with you, and that you're not being heard. Many therapists nowadays seem to believe that empathy is all it takes for successful psychotherapy to happen. And sorry to be cynical, but I think that depends a lot on what you define successful to be. If successful is the client keeps coming back and they even tell their friends about what a wonderful therapist you are, then yes, if you just shower the client with empathy, never challenging them, never questioning anything they say, well, that can be very popular. That's a very comfortable thing for many people who are approaching therapy as a way to get agreement, basically. If they equate agreement with being, quote unquote, supported, that may be all they're really looking for, so they can feel good about themselves. Unfortunately, just being empathic is not successful psychotherapy if you define success as helping a person change, improve, grow, and be better at navigating their way through the world. Successful psychotherapy means looking at things differently, seeing life in a new way, looking at your feelings from different angles, and sometimes being gently challenged by a caring, curious person with another perspective. There's a lot of bad therapy out there that aims to relieve clients of any responsibility, any sense that they need to change anything in themselves. The problems are all out there, and I'm on your side. The world isn't always a friendly, comforting place, and it's true that a lot of problems do come from the outside. But empathy in itself can't change the world or even the client. Empathy is necessary but not sufficient for change. Let me know your thoughts about empathy in therapy. Whether you agree, disagree, have any sort of comment, please put it below. I do read every single one of them. And if you ask a thoughtful question, I'll reply with a thoughtful answer. Please like this video, but only if you like it. Please subscribe if you have not already. And while you're here, why don't you check out this video, which is also about psychotherapy and psychologically informed psychiatry. I'll see you next time.